to share this rather extreme story, and I do want to start by saying that it's completely unusual. This never happened to me before and didn't happen after this situation. But years ago, I was a personal trainer in a pretty large gym, and I had a client that started out fine. Everything was great. She seemed to be friendly. She was a little, I guess, feisty or a little bit outgoing, kind of energetic, and everything again was fine. And then one day I asked her to do some lunges, and she turned around and slapped me right across the face. And as I said, this has never happened before, never happened since. But I was absolutely shocked. I didn't even know what, at first I didn't know what to say. So I told her briefly, I said, you can't hit me. And she was like, I'm really sorry. I was just teasing. I didn't mean to hit you that hard. I was just going to tap you. I think she said shut up when I told her that she was going to be doing lunges. She just didn't want to do lunges, which is fine because there are plenty of other leg exercises I could put her through. But then a couple weeks later, she did it again. And at that point, I had to have a conversation with her. And I said, listen, I appreciate training you. I appreciate your business. But clients should never be touching the trainer, certainly not hitting them. And again, it was for some exercise she didn't want to do. She seemed apologetic. Everything seemed to be like, okay, I kind of reestablished that boundary, made sure it was clear to her she couldn't do this. And then it happened a third time. And at that point, I had to get rid of the client. And I bring this up because as much as an extreme situation as I know it was, like I said, I've never had a client hit me. In that case, it makes me think about how many times clients touch trainers and how inappropriate that is. Because as a professional, I've never touched my doctor, right? I've never gone up and hit the doctor or touched the doctor inappropriately. I can't imagine a circumstance where I would need to shake their hand when I meet them, but that's it. But again, I think especially considering that in the fitness industry, it's body centric. You're with the client for an hour, hour and a half. Maybe you're getting their circumference measurements, their body fat measurements. You're using calipers, skin fold calipers. You're helping to maybe spot them occasionally. If you're not certified to be a massage expert, then you shouldn't be touching them to massage them. There are other ways, stretching a client with PNF stretches. There's ways we can help a client when they're going through a stretch. Again, I've never really done that too much. It's been very minimal, work in that area for me, because as far as I'm concerned, that is again something that is really getting close to that line where we want to make sure we touch the client only when it is absolutely necessary, and the client should never really be touching us. Now, again, because we're in close proximity, they're getting on the bench, off the bench, you're helping, you're spotting, you're moving stuff around. There are going to be times where we bump into one another, that sort of thing, completely normal. But it's really important I think more than anything, at least in my experience and seeing it in the gym, it doesn't matter what gender it is at all. But I think women need to really be paying attention to, if the trainer is touching them, it's really not necessary. At least that's, in my professional experience, it is not necessary for a personal trainer to be touching a client unless they are needing a spot or, again, getting those measurements. And when you take measurements from a client, when you're getting their measurements, you want to do it in an area where it is exposed enough that the people in the gym can see you, but it's secluded enough that it's not going to embarrass the client. A lot of clients are embarrassed about their measurements. They don't want to have those taken. It's like standing on a scale. You don't want people to see the number. You don't want that information broadcast. And so people, when they're getting their measurements, they might feel uncomfortable. So I do it in an area where it's not quite, out in public in the middle of the gym, but it's visible so that people see where I am and what I'm doing, and they can see that I'm measuring that, that client appropriately. The other piece of advice I would give you here before I finish up is just to make sure you measure the same way every client, every time. And that is going to do a few things. It's going to make sure you appear professional. It's going to improve the numbers. It's going to make sure that you are getting an accurate measurement, right? Because you're consistent in that measurement. Spot every time. I always measure from the right side of the body. I never reach around the client. I always hand them the tape measure and have them put it around their back so that I can take it from them and measure them that way. There are lots of ways to do that where you are not putting yourself in an uncomfortable position or the client. And again, you just want to make sure you're consistent. That way, if there's ever any question or if anybody ever accuses you of something falsely, you're able to bring in a lot of people that say, no, every time I get measured, I'm measured consistently. I'm measured in a place that's, visible. I've never known that trainer to touch me inappropriately. And the better your reputation is, the longer that's going to carry you. And in this business, reputation is everything. I hope you'll stay tuned. I'll see you next time.